Hey everybody, this is Walt.
This is Max.
And you are listening to the ABCs of Rock and Metal Podcast.
Anti-Seminal, brought to you by Useless Info Inc. as usual. And today we have a special returning guest.
Hey guys.
This is Mark. Mark is back with us.
So glad to be here.
Awesome, because today we're taking on a big one. This is Metallica.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get much bigger than this, right?
Which album?
Well, first tell me what are the seminal albums, in your opinion.
For me, it's got to be Master of Puppets, going backwards, Ride the Lightning, and the Black Record. A lot of people really love the Black Record.
Yeah.
I can't
We'll talk
say
about that
later.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
We are tackling Kilomole.
Yes.
And we brought along our friend Mark once again.
Yeah. And how interesting, right out of the gate, you say that the introduction to the world of Metallica is the anti-Seminole. It's hard for me to wrap my head around that.
Well,
but
talk about that a little bit.
I understand
like, what
it.
do you, okay.
Well, it's 1983. Dave Mustaine has been unceremoniously shit-canned from the group and sent back on a bus.
Okay, give me a bit of the history there.
Yeah.
Like how, with the forming and everything.
Well, Metallica was an LA band.
Yeah.
So they're in LA and they're playing, and they got this guy Ron McGovney on bass, who in the limited access I've had to him, he seems like a decent fellow. You know, he's got his shit together. He's still alive and doing something. I don't know. But they hear what was Cliff Burton's band? Trauma, I think it was.
Trauma.
They saw Trauma, and they see this absolute monster bass player, and they decide, we want this guy. And he's like, well, I'm in San Francisco, and they're like, well, you know what? Actually, LA sucks, so we're going to move to San Francisco. So they relocate the band just to get Cliff Burton, and they knew what
Wise
they had.
choice.
Which I'm jumping way ahead here, but it's so interesting that a band that would become notorious for mixing the bass way too low would have this monster bass player. It's crazy.
Well, that's part of it. Once they lost him.
Yeah, but even with him, they didn't feature him as much as they should. Although we'll get to that. And on this record, you can hear him.
Yeah,
it's one of the few things you can hear him on.
Yeah. Bass solo, take one.
Take one, yeah. So it's 1983. They poach Kirk Hammett from Exodus.
Right.
Who, full disclosure, is the primary reason that I went out and spent all my money on my first guitar.
Nice.
It was
Really?
Kirk Hammett. Yeah.
It was Hammett,
It was Kirk Hammett, yeah.
Not Mustaine, Hammett.
Nope, it was Hammett. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because at that point I was in 7th grade, and it was a magical metal year. It was 1986.
Yeah.
All the classic records came. Master of Puppets, P-Cells.
Right.
Actually, P-Cells might have been 85, but and Among the Living and Rain and
Anthrax,
Blood. It's like
Slayer.
everything.
Yeah.
All
It
the
was a great
seminal
metal
It's an
time.
amazing. You guys need to do a whole show on 1986.
Oh, yeah, we might have to.
Yeah, so it's an amazing time for metal, and that's right when I got into it. I first heard SOD because they swore a lot on the record. I'm like, oh, I want to listen to that. And then I just got hooked on how heavy it was, and so I naturally got into Metallica, and immediately from Master of Puppets worked my way back to Ride the Lightning, to Kilomole. And Kilomole stands out from those other two in a number of ways. I think you guys would agree that the jump from Kilomole to Ride the Lightning is massive.
Massive.
Yeah.
It's
And
huge. They made a huge jump.
They really did.
Now, in what respect?
In a few respects.
Okay.
First, I'm obsessed with the inner workings of how they get sounds that they get. Kilomole is a classic Marshall amps with a rat pedal in front of it.
Very stripped down.
So it's like more of a raw rock sound.
Yeah.
Starting on Ride the Lightning, they went over to Mesa Boogie, whose mission statement as an amplifier company was to find ways to, it's a more manufactured kind of sound, and it's a great sound, but it's more processed kind of sounding.
So you can
Less
sound
raw.
produced without being produced.
Yeah, you can take a Mesa amp and you plug in and at any volume you can get a real saturated heavy sound. A Marshall is, you have to turn
You
it
gotta
up
know
to
what
a
you're doing.
certain level before, you have to make it loud too.
Yeah.
When you have a Marshall down low, it sounds a little puny. You turn it up loud and it starts really sounding good. So there's that raw sound. And then also, do you guys agree with me that it almost sounds like a demo tape a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
That classic.
It's kind of like No Life to Leather, their actual demo tape.
Yeah, like it's an improved version of No Life to Leather.
Yeah.
The drums actually sound like what happens when you have limited tracks and limited resources and you just throw a mic on the snare. You can tell what's happening, but it doesn't sound like these days nobody even records drums anymore. They just pull up samples.
Right.
And every snare hit sounds exactly the same. This you can hear that it still has the spirit of a demo, where it's an actual performance happening, and Lars Ulrich is like, former Danish tennis player who's doing his best, and he's an amazing drummer. I'm going to just go on record as saying, in the classic period of Metallica, Lars Ulrich was great.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, yeah, because he had the real spirit
Attitude.
of it. Yeah,
Attitude.
Yeah, where he's going for it.
Yeah.
And he's going for it for real, and he doesn't give a shit if, like, the second snare hit in
Right.
that bar is
If he's a little sloppy or
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the true spirit that you should have in metal.
Kind of like the punk stuff that they were coming from.
Yeah.
You know, and the new wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of just, it's more about the attitude than it is the actual playing, and get that across to the kids so we can sell a record.
Now that's a really interesting thing to me. What do you feel were their key influences in terms of punk and new wave metal? At that point? What was happening that was inspiring them?
I mean, for me or Metallica?
From what you see from what Metallica was doing.
Well, I kind of got, once again, you had, your West Coast versus East Coast kind of thing when it came to punk rock bands.
Right.
And thrash and what have you. Thrash was just barely starting.
Yeah.
Metallica really, really were the forerunners of seeing what was happening on the street and kind of bringing that to shows.
Okay.
There was nothing faster than punk rock
No.
at the time.
Yeah.
There wasn't. I mean, even the new wave of British heavy metal, Def Leppard softened out a little bit once they got commercial success. Motorhead was the last British band that was still just going fast and heavy.
Yeah.
So I would say they took a page out of Motorhead's book when they started up, and took a page from different punk rock and hardcore bands around the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they certainly had all those bands that I think a lot of people were like me. I had never heard of the bands they were influenced by until they covered them, like
Right.
Diamond Head. I
Right.
didn't know what Diamond Head was. I sought them out after that. Budgie. Are you serious? You named your name Budgie? Don't tell Craig. Oh, my God.
We had that conversation.
Yeah.
I remember I had heard of some of these bands because friends of mine would always swap tapes back and forth.
Okay.
When I was in high school, you get a tape, here's a mixtape, here's a blah, blah, blah. So you discover bands, but
That's how we had to do it back in the day.
But this is back where it's not labeled. You're listening to this music, but you don't know who the band is.
You have no idea the provenance.
You had to tune into local rock radio to maybe discover what the band name was.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, duh. Yeah, it's Diamond Head. Oh, shit, it's Budgie.
Yeah.
That's what happened, because not a lot of us could afford, going out and buying
Yeah, you can't just
cassettes
buy every
and
record
records.
set out there. Yeah.
So you had that one kid that had rich parents that bought albums,
That had
and
all the stuff.
everybody
Yep, yeah.
When you make
sap
a tape
off him.
copy,
Yeah. Right.
And you hope it's only 1 or 2 generations down the line. So the signal to noise is acceptable, at least. I give Metallica credit, too, in that they were willing to expose their influences. They could have just ripped off Diamond Head, and I never would have known. But they're like, no, we're
Right.
going to pay tribute to them right from the beginning,
Right.
So, yeah, here we are. It's 1983. We got our debut record. They went to New York to make this record, and this is classic. No big rock ending, the big rock intro.
Right,
Here's
right.
Metallica,
Yeah,
and they come right out of the gate with the fade up of.
All right, let's get into it, huh?
Let's hit the lights.
Okay, first track. Slow fade up, right?
Waiting in
Just like-
anticipation.
Yeah, wailing on one chord, drums wailing on the cymbals, big fills.
And just like go back to 83 and imagine how this sounded back then. This incredible mission statement.
Yes.
Of this is who we are.
Well, the first time I heard it was in a car with a friend of mine.
Well, that's right.
And he was playing it on his tape deck.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? What is this?
Yeah.
It's like, damn, that is... And we're just driving around the neighborhood blasting it,
Listen to this.
in a Honda.
Yep.
In a yellow Honda blasting Metallica. Yeah. See, he'll never sound like that ever again.
Nope.
I know.
It's a moment in history.
Don't let the leather...
Gonna kick some ass tonight.
Fuck yeah. I live by that credo.
Yeah. As a young person, I heard this and it just got me pumped up. It still kind of does because
Yeah.
it takes me
Yeah.
back.
I'm going to go outside now and punch somebody.
Yeah.
Easy, Walt.
No, you should do it. You should do it.
I should do it. Right?
Frankly, when we start to rock, we never want to stop again. If I'm
again.
to read that printed page, maybe less impressive than
Right. But a way to promote the band.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. They were a rock band that was playing clubs at the time.
Yeah.
So of course you had to promote yourself.
Yeah.
And you had to say, all this stuff. Especially if you're 20 years old. what else are you going to write about?
Yeah.
You know?
And you're in the process
If
of
you're a metal
inventing thrash metal, and you're
Right.
just kind of like, this
Metal
is what
culture,
it is. No
right.
life to leather. I'll
Kick
I'll
some
punch
ass
you.
tonight.
Yeah, I'll kick some ass. I got the metal madness. Yeah.
All right, next up. This is the Four Horsemen.
Oh, Four Horsemen.
Yep.
This is one of the finest crafted songs on this record.
On the
I
album,
think,
yeah.
in some ways. Yeah.
Okay, tell me why.
Well, it's this and Seek and Destroy. Well, let's talk about this one.
Yeah.
To me, it's a little bit like something that could have been on Ride the Lightning, maybe, in that you've got these various phases of the song, and you get into the
Exactly.
middle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
kind of long blocks with like repeated guitar lines.
Yeah.
That's much more what they end up doing later.
Yes,
Yeah.
and also it gets mellow in the middle and sort of dark in a quiet way, and then comes back to that main riff. And when it comes back around, you feel extra energized as a 16-year-old.
There it is,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it brings you back around, like you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Did Mustaine write some of these riffs?
Yeah, let's talk about that. The
Right.
mechanics.
Yes.
Right.
On Megadeth's
Mechanic,
first
right,
record,
right.
they have a sped up version of this song called Mechanics that
Yeah.
lops off that whole middle section we were just talking about, the quiet section. That's not in there. But basically, this was Dave Mustaine's baby.
Yeah.
When he got shit canned, they kept it because it's, one of their best songs.
But he
That's
said not to use his material.
Yeah.
But they used it anyway
did
and
it
just
anyway.
reworked
Yeah.
it. Now, what do you like better, Four Horsemen or Mechanics?
I like Four Horsemen better.
Same
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Same here. I'll go with that.
I actually wanted to like Mechanics better because I felt like it's Mustaine's song.
Yeah,
but
but
no.
no.
He's talking about like working at a gas station or something.
right.
Come to my station, I'll get you what you need. It's like, is this an ad for Mako or something? What is this?
He's doing the porn fantasy with that song where he works at a gas station and the girl drives up and they bang.
Oh, I never even.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
pay more attention.
They fuck in the bathroom. That's basically it. I'm your mechanic.
yeah.
But I do love this version.
Yeah.
You know.
So let me just make a general comment right now. We're 2 songs in
Right.
to this record.
Yeah.
And we're not listening to it in real time so everyone can hear this, but there have already now been 5 guitar solos.
Yeah, right.
5
That's
solos.
pretty incredible, yeah.
We're 2 songs
Yeah.
in. So I did a little experiment that I feel like might be the time to divulge this.
Deep statistical analysis
It's a
from Mark.
statistical analysis.
Yes.
I thought, okay, we need to find out how many guitar solos per song
Of course we do.
are on this record. Now, Hit the Lights has 3 solos. The Anesthesia is a solo, so I didn't count that one. That's a bass
Right.
solo.
Yeah.
But only a couple of songs have a single solo. Every other one is multiple solos. Do you know that the songs, the 10 original songs, not counting the covers, which we'll talk about later, it's an average of 1.65 solos per song.
Wow. Okay.
Gee.
Anytime you break
Wow.
the 1.0 barrier, I think you're in dangerous ground in terms of the appropriate number of solos. Like 1 per song, you could say, oh, really? Every song has a solo? But no, every song has closer to 2 than 1 solo. That's a lot of soloing.
It's a lot.
You know what? And
Yeah.
that's why we love the record.
Yeah.
That's what drew me to it.
Yeah, and I think that's why some people might be put off by it because they know newer Metallica, not older Metallica.
But it doesn't feel that way to me.
It doesn't, it's
Right?
one
I
of
mean,
those-
it feels like the solos are interwoven organically.
Right.
Because a lot of metal at that time, especially, it's like, okay, you got the verse, chorus, and it just seems like everything stops.
Slotted.
And okay, now we're giving time for
Solo,
the solo.
right.
Yeah.
We
Slotted,
come back.
slot,
You know,
slot, right.
when you say the statistic, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But when I'm listening, I'm not hearing, okay, solo time, okay, now. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's like I'm not conscious
Yeah.
of it.
And
It just
in-
seems so natural.
And Hit the Lights, a verse ends and suddenly Kirk Hammett is tearing your fucking face
Yeah,
off
yeah,
for like
yeah.
4 bars that go by
Yeah.
and nothing because it's thrash. It's going by
Right.
fast. So I agree with you. I had no problem with it. It was only when I was analyzing it.
Yeah, no, it's
a
interesting.
lot of solos
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
record. And that's what drew me to Kirk Hammett. And I think in particular on this record, they mix the solos really loud. And I feel like it's just such an expression of teenage, like young person testosterone. Like he
yeah.
rips your face off with these solos.
Yeah.
They're ruthless. Having studied jazz in college a little bit, jazz guitar, they say, oh, you should play your lines. Imagine like you're taking a breath, and every phrase should be aligned with the human breath, which I think is a good thing.
Right.
He would have to have lungs like the size of a Led Zeppelin to be able to, like, it's one
Right.
breath and just go.
2
you know?
Zeppelins. 2 Led Zeppelins.
He goes the whole time, yeah. And
That's-
it's so relentless.
That's why I love this album because it's like the young bar fight for me. They're young, they're cocky, fists flying, you
Yeah.
know. The second record with Ride the Lightning, now they took a karate class. Now they're
Refined.
fight a little bit
Yeah.
more refined.
Yeah.
This, they're just coming
Street
at
fighting.
you, haymaking you the whole nine.
Yeah.
They're just coming right
They're
straight
coming at you. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it appeals to men. I was talking to Tina about this recently because we were listening to it this week on vinyl. I'm spinning it, and she's like, "I hate this album."
It's a dude record.
It is. It kind of
just a
is.
dude
It's all
record.
about.
Yeah.
It's about testosterone,
Yeah.
and it's about. Here we are, and we're trying to blast your face off. We're trying to say,
Sandblast
we have
your face
arrived.
off.
Yeah, we are sandblasting your face off.
Does she like Metallica in general?
Yes,
was
Ride the
one-
Lightning and Master of Puppets. She loves a lot.
Okay,
That's
all right.
That's what we came to. She's like, they're
Yeah,
a 2
yeah.
album band for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
For me, they're a 4 album.
Yeah,
band.
they're
So,
4 for me. Yeah.
or 5.
You like the Black record?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I think Enter Sandman's awesome. I think that's
That's
a great song.
and Sad But True, that's it
Yeah.
for me. Those 2
Yeah.
singles off the Black record.
Yeah, but
That's
for me, it's the first 4, and I also like Garage Days. I consider
Of course.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
that
you're
one-
right. You're
that's-
right.
yeah,
I don't know
that's,
if that's fair or not to call that a record, but I definitely include it because it's awesome and the sound of that record's
Well,
amazing.
I love the fact when they put that out, it was a 5.98 EP, and they weren't trying to rip fans off and said, "Don't pay any more."
Yeah.
There was a big sticker on the long box
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yep.
Don't pay any more. It's $5.98 because we were all waiting for And Justice for All.
Yeah.
After Cliff died, and
I
they
know,
got
and
Jason in.
that's Newstead
Yeah,
getting
Jason
into the
in, yeah.
fold, and they gave him some love on that, too. He actually got to be heard for the last time ever.
Or Jason Newsted. But you know what? We love Jason Newsted.
Yeah.
And he's on to different things, and,
Yeah,
he's a great player. Echo Brain. Have you ever listened to
I
Echo Brain?
never checked them out that much. Are they good?
I like them, but it's his passion project. So you gotta,
Yeah.
if you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, you're not. But it's a different animal than Metallica.
He seems like a good guy to me. Every time
I would love to hang out with him and have a
he's-
beer,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and just talk
Yeah.
to the man.
Plus, if like shit was gonna go down, I kind of want a guy like Newstead around.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
Yeah, you don't want to hang out with Ulrich.
Next up, Motor Breath. All right, Mark, tell me. That's drums. That's you.
This to me, like the energy of this, the forward momentum of this track, it's like a train going
It's
off the
insane.
rails.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is insane.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
first car,
This
and
is
then all
Motorhead.
the other cars after
Yeah, exactly.
collide, and
I was in a band when I was in college, and I went into this one time just as a joke, and the drummer just gritted his teeth, and he was like, just going for it. We used to play it every rehearsal just to get pumped up, you know. Yeah, it's thrash happening right
Yeah.
now. You know, it's basically what they call the skank beat, which is just kick snare, kick snare, kick snare.
Right,
You know,
right.
Slayer did
Bang,
the
boom,
skank
bang, boom.
beat the best.
What do you got, Walt?
Driving.
well, Hetfield wrote this song when he was with another band called Leather Charm.
Oh wow.
That sounds
One of
like an
his first
interesting band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leather Charm.
Yeah. Huh.
And it's about life on the road. I want to hear that original
Yeah, I'd love to
recording.
hear that too.
That
Yeah, I
sounds
don't
like
even know
a
about Leather
sister
Charm.
band to the Village People. But honestly, you know,
It's a piano band.
Leather Charm.
Leather
yeah,
Charm.
yeah.
Muta Breath. Yeah, and this one just for solo count, 2 full solos in that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing, though.
That song is great on this record too because it does establish in a slightly ham-fisted way because it's got motor right in it. But that's like kind of touching on their Motorhead, just the real fast
Right.
driving.
Bum bum. And
Caught
that's a
in a
classic
sandstorm.
Motorhead change.
Yeah.
Bum bum.
Yeah.
I love it. And once again, they're trying to be, tough guys where they're not really tough guys yet.
right.
You know what I mean?
There's
they
some
were tough
posturing.
guys when Master of Puppets came out.
Yeah.
That's when I took them like, oh shit, you guys are for real.
Yeah.
On this album, you were just some street punks from LA. Fuck you guys. All right, you got some riffs. You cool. All right, I get it. But I wasn't taking them so seriously on this album.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, I don't know if they recorded this record the same way as they did Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, but they're different than most 2-guitar bands in the sense that if you look at like AC/DC or Guns N' Roses or Aerosmith, you've got two great guitar players having this interplay.
Right.
James Hetfield is the rhythm sound of Metallica. He did all the rhythm guitars.
Yeah.
And Kirk Hammett literally came to the studio and just played the solos.
solos. Yeah,
which
that's
is
it,
ridiculous.
Right.
It's like, so as a band, it's why, honestly, I feel like they've never been as good live. Maybe they were back when Mustaine was in, because Mustaine was a rhythm guy, too.
And
I mean, you listen to him in Megadeth, some of those rhythms are unbelievable.
He plays
what
rhythm,
can do.
and then he goes into solo, and then he trades off, especially during the Rust in Peace days.
Oh, it's amazing.
Where he would trade off with
Marty Friedman.
Marty. That was incredible.
And, you know, you listen to this, and Kirk Hammett, as much as he was the guy that made me want to play guitar, and I love the face-melting solos that he plays on this record, he's not as strong of a rhythm player. James Hetfield is the true guitar genius in Metallica, really. And sorry, Kirk, I don't mean to discredit, because Kirk, I've already, said the nicest compliment you can pay to Kirk.
He listens to this podcast.
I know he's
right.
out there.
Yeah,
I know he's out there.
obviously.
Kirk, you should come by sometime. Jam.
Just
you
kick
know?
with us.
But
We'll start a super group.
yeah, it's a strange dynamic though to have the record sound so razor tight rhythmically, and it's just because it's James Hetfield doing both parts basically with Metallica. That's and most especially as they went on, like on And Justice for All, it's like all James Hetfield.
It's Hetfield and Ulrich, and that's
It's Hetfield
it.
and Ulrich, and
That's
that's
it.
it basically.
That's it.
It's so weird, but we don't want to get stuck on that. We got to talk about Jumping the Fire, right?
Yep. Here we go.
I love some of the riffing in this song.
Of course.
Yeah.
See, this brings me back to when I was a young Turk idiot, you know.
A young Turk.
Emphasis on the second part.
Yeah.
I'm still an idiot. But it brings me back to that, you know, oh, come on, man, let's go out. Let's get in the car. Let's drive around. Let's play some metal. Come on, let's go pick up some chicks and blah, blah.
Yep.
Meanwhile, if you're playing Metallica back then, you're not picking up chicks.
You're
Def
driving
Leppard
them
or
off.
something.
Yeah.
They're running.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean by the punk attitude with this album.
All right,
This
I hear
is
you.
very,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even
Listen
the
to it,
riffs,
I love this riff.
It's got a simplicity to it. Yeah.
and then the stop.
Yeah.
Come on, that's a classic punk start again.
Yeah, no, you're
You don't
right.
get a fill, you get two hits
Yeah, exactly.
You're right.
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
bring you back in.
Yeah. And I've heard James Hetfield speak in less than glowing terms about this song in later years, where he's like, it's like sounds like some disco shit. It's like,
Really?
not
What?
really, yeah.
Right? Where is that?
Well,
Where's-
it's kind of a 4 on the floor thing a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah, it's like, come on, disco? No.
You know what? You could take a disco beat and make it metal like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's called industrial. But yeah, I like
He's
the song.
never going to sound like that ever again.
No, he
His
won't.
vocals are so young and
Yeah.
hungry. I mean, the whole band is, to be honest.
Yeah, and
They're
this
so
song,
young and hungry.
"Come On, Jump In Now," right at the end, and that solo kicks in where it's face melting.
Yeah.
He's just picking the high string as fast as he can and just like letting his fingers flail on it. Basically, it's like it's the expression of a 16-year-old perma boner. Basically, where it's just like
Perma boner. Band name. Called
there
it.
it is.
Band name.
That's the band name right there.
Just
I
like,
can see
can't
the album
stop.
cover right now.
Yeah.
It's just your
Yeah.
feet.
I see
and
it,
then
but I don't want to.
It's just your feet
Yeah.
hanging off the bed, and then just in your sheet.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, right.
You got the boner.
Pitch in the tent.
Right, exactly.
Sorry. You
God.
guys can edit.
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
No, we're gonna
Cut.
keep that.
No, we're keeping
We're
this.
keeping that.
Yeah. Moving on.
Oh my goodness. Bitch in a friggin' tent.
All right, so we just edited out the minute that we spent laughing at that stupid joke, so it's time to move on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, next up, anesthesia, pulling teeth.
Now, here's an unprecedented move, too. Let's
Talk
do
about
a
this one.
bass solo.
Yeah.
An extended bass solo.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me because it starts off almost like he's playing some kind of exercise, you know, like he's just, I'm doing my scales or my arpeggios.
Yeah, for like some classical thing.
Yeah, a classical
almost. Yeah.
thing, exactly. And I like, I remember hearing this for the first time when it starts getting crazy and it sounds like the air raid sirens and all this shit.
Right.
And then the drums kick in and I'm like, oh my God, I see why they moved to San Francisco for this guy. Like he's making sounds that, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that. I mean, his
Wow.
ability to use the wah to create that vocal.
Yeah.
He really was an amazing talent.
It was a staple when he was with Trauma, and that's why Hetfield and Ulrich were like We want this guy.
Yeah.
So they kept it in, and they put it on the record.
Yeah.
Now, does it need to be on the record?
Maybe not, but I'll
But-
take it, though.
See, for me, it's that great point, like I said earlier, when you're driving around with your friends, and you're hanging around,
Yeah.
and you're playing that.
Yeah, right.
So off-putting. So many people move away from you like, what the hell are you listening to?
What is this thing?
It's
Yeah.
like, it's Cliff Burton.
Yeah. You know what's funny, too? There was a great debate when I was in high school. Like, people were like, who's better, Steve Harris or Cliff Burton? Steve Harris being the Iron Maiden bass player for anyone on this podcast who might not know that. But if you listen to this, you probably know about Steve Harris. He's fucking great. There's no question he was a big part of Maiden's sound. But to me, it's like, Cliff Burton is more like Jimi Hendrix almost. He's redefining things. He's playing bass with distortion and wah and making it this whole other thing. And he also has an insane groove and facility on the instrument. Whereas like Steve Harris is some British dude like plugging into a PV and just clanking along on his P bass. I mean, he's great, but
Like you said,
to me,
not
Cliff
dissing.
Burton, yeah.
I think he took a page out of Lemmy's book. Lemmy played bass like a guitar.
Yeah. He plugged it into a guitar amp, basically, a
That's it.
Marshall stack.
Right.
You know?
And he just, went at it.
Yeah.
No plucking, no slapping.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
he played it like a guitar. So I think Burton took a little page out of Lemmy's book.
Yeah, I agree.
But just made it his own.
Yeah.
And very quickly, to be honest.
And you see him on, and it was years before I even realized this, but on Ride the Lightning, there are segments where he takes a solo, and it sounds like, actually on, I think it's Orion, it goes, and it sounds like a guitar solo. That's Cliff Burton jumping in there, just like taking a solo on bass with distortion, and you can't even tell that he's doing it. I mean, he was a special guy, It's a shame he got crushed by a tour bus, but that's the breaks, I mean, what the fuck? That's how it goes sometimes, and it adds to the legend of all of it. But it's crazy to think. I can't help but thinking he would have left Metallica at some point. Do you think that?
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that
The Black Album,
he would have been like, nah, man, you know what? I'm going to play bass for AC/DC.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys for a minute. I'm
Trauma
going to go to
Part
Guns N'
2
Roses.
yeah.
I think that he might have jumped ship with Metallica.
Maybe.
Later on. And it's sad because Cliff Burton is one of the guys that really made Metallica sound what they sound like on those records, on the first three.
Yeah, because he brought this other element that, and no disrespect to Jason Newsted, because he brought a different element, which I also thought was cool, which is more of a plotting type of, he's playing with a pick instead of his fingers. And Cliff Burton was unique in that he used all four of his fingers to pluck, which is pretty rare.
Yeah, I've
that your
seen the
pinky
videos.
Isn't long enough to play a role for most people, but he actually got this, so he could gallop with this amazing facility where he's using all his fingers. Most people are 1 and 2, if that.
Yeah,
He's-
right.
he's
If
still-
you're lucky.
Just for the
Bass.
listeners,
Yeah.
Mark is making a motion with his hands that I'm not going to try to describe.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wish you could see this, because I'm doing a visual here. But
Yeah. Well, it could be a lot of things.
yeah.
I'm
And certainly,
saying.
that's true. Les Claypool.
I'd like
is
to get
a
all my
similar-
fingers involved in whatever I'm doing.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Let's
Absolutely.
move it along.
So yeah, there's anesthesia, pulling teeth.
Yep.
Bass solo, take 1. Is that really necessary? By the way, like we're not going to figure out that
It's take 22.
Yeah, I know. And you're
Yeah.
lying too. You get a bunch of takes. Don't say
Yeah.
take 1. Yeah. Although it could have been a first take. I don't
Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, Metallica, if you're listening, correct us.
All right, next up, Whiplash.
Which was the single
Yeah.
off this album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this right here.
Yeah.
Right?
Building the tension.
See, there was a review years ago, and I have it somewhere in my notes, but the one guy that reviewed the album said if there is an advent or invention of thrash metal, it's Whiplash on Metallica's Kilomole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear
So,
that.
and here it is
Yeah.
right here, just this chugging.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
It's so friggin' aggressive.
That machine gun attack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total machine gun, and now the drums right with it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The show is through, the metal's gone, it's time to hit the road.
Say it.
This almost it makes you think of those songs like dance songs where the title of the song is the name of a dance, and during the song the lyrics basically describe the dance that you're doing to the song. You know what I'm talking about?
I know the connection you're making.
Because
I know what
he's
you're talking
basically
about.
describing
You're gonna
what
get
the
whiplash.
what the audience should be doing listening to the song, which is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bang your
Bang.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like the thrash metal version of
in
that.
the morning,
Yeah.
you're neck is going to be sore.
Yep.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
In
And
a
you're gonna have a
frenzied
headache.
madness with
Yeah.
the leather in your spikes. It's hot as hell tonight. and he actually says, "We'll never stop, we'll never quit, because we're
We're
Metallica."
Metallica.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
as
yeah,
a young
yeah.
person, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And then you see him live, and he goes, "We'll never stop, we'll never quit, because you're Metallica."
Yeah,
It's
see,
like,
that's
oh,
when they
come
got
on,
big,
stop
you know.
it, man. I'm not Metallic. I'm not in the band.
See, like I said,
Blow
that's what you
smoke.
do when you're starting a band. You got to promote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they did that. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the greatest names for a metal band ever, Metallica.
Yeah, I know.
It is.
it's pretty
one of
genius,
the
yeah.
greatest
Yeah.
names ever.
And it's
You
so
can't-
simple.
Right.
Yeah. And they nailed it with the logo too, with the
Yeah, the hooks
Yeah,
and-
like
yeah.
this is gonna get stuck in you when you get stabbed by Metallica. It's not gonna pull out easy.
Right.
You know, it's got that barb on it. It's like a fucking hornet stinger. You know.
There are so many jokes.
I didn't say anything about getting fucked in the ass, just for the record.
Oh God.
I didn't. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say that. I said a bee sting. It's different.
right.
What else go to
You got hooked in
Come
the
on. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
hooked in the ass. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
okay,
what,
all right.
what was the original title of this album?
Metal up your ass.
All right. See. All right. We can't avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's part of the context.
I
Have
know,
you
which is
seen
so
the
hilarious.
actual logo? They put it on T-shirts after.
Okay.
A while,
Yeah.
You know where it's
It's so bad. Yeah.
it's a toilet bowl with
You already lost me.
Hands.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Like
I
a
have seen
Bowie
that.
knife.
I have seen that. Are you kidding me right now?
Middle
That's
of
like
your
grade
ass.
Z horror movie shit. You know?
I'm serious. Even if I was a hungry band and wanted to shake things up and really shock
Yeah.
people, I'd
Yeah.
be like, you know what? No, that is not the
Yeah.
album cover I want for our debut album.
Yeah.
I agree, and you know, when I saw that first silk screen come back with like the porcelain toilet bowl, I just like, no, just no.
I didn't even want to buy that
Yeah.
T-shirt. I'm not wearing a T-shirt with a toilet bowl. Period.
That
Just
was
a
my
general
thing too. It's
principle.
like, why are we in the restroom right now? Like, this isn't rock and roll.
You know,
I'm trying to,
lightning is
you know.
coming out of the toilet bowl. Okay, it's cool. All right, it's kind of cool. But I'm not really going to really rock this T-shirt with a hand sticking out of it. With, like you said, a Bowie knife,
Yeah.
you know, or your mom's kitchen knife.
How did that guy get in there?
I know.
He's been waiting in the sewage pipes of this
Yeah.
bathroom, like just waiting for some. Yeah.
The logistics of it don't work.
Exactly.
It's like you
Right.
can't
Yeah,
be in
yeah.
the toilet unless it's a gag toilet of some. I don't know.
It's
No,
yeah.
it doesn't. It doesn't matter really.
Yeah, it
Honestly,
really
it really doesn't matter.
it does not matter. You're right about that, Walt.
And I'm glad that at least once, for record company's sake, that they actually said, you know what? No,
Yeah.
we're not putting that out
Yeah,
because that is a shit choice.
yeah, guys,
So
that's fucking
you know,
stupid.
That's just
Yeah.
not a good idea.
yeah.
You know? Even if lightning is shooting out of the toilet, no,
Yeah.
no, it's not a good idea. Not-
So now, just to close the book on Whiplash real quick. So here we are again in the classic era of album sides. This is closing out side one.
Okay.
So you've got like that's a pretty nice bookend there.
That's a
you
good
know.
statement.
Right.
Yeah.
And now, and this is what blows my mind about this record a little bit, even in hindsight. Let's dig into side two because Phantom Lord leads off side two. Should we talk about Phantom Lord?
Oh yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Now is that a synth drone or what?
I don't quite know how they make that. Probably a synth.
It seems
yeah.
odd,
Yeah.
especially for this album.
for
Yeah.
this album,
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it probably
intro.
is a synth, a
Yeah.
Moog or
Yeah.
something.
Uh-huh.
And this is what I miss about records. Like again, it feels like we're starting the second chapter right here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's like the second act of
Yes.
some really violent, horrible play.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Phantom Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That is very, very good. Oh, yeah.
See, I would love to see a younger band kind of come back to this kind of style.
Yeah.
You know, and really take off and really change the face of rock and music again.
That would be interesting.
But
Yeah.
it's not happening.
No.
It's not happening. I mean, these guys, they took influence, but they made it their own,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
you really want to see another band do something that would be as bombastic as when these guys started.
Yeah.
They started some shit that everybody else copied,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And this song Phantom Lord also, this is a well-crafted song, too.
Yeah.
This has got a lot of movements. It goes places. It takes you on a journey. It's long.
Yeah.
You know, and they had a lot of songs like that in the old days. This one in particular always struck me as just being hardcore fucking metal. You know,
Fuck
this
yeah.
is for real. They're not playing around here. The Phantom Lord has never failed.
Yeah.
Fist of Terror breaking through. Now there's nothing you can do.
Now, correct me
Hear the
if
cry
I'm
of
wrong.
war.
This was written by Dave Mustaine?
This very well could have been. I don't know.
Okay,
that
I
for
think
sure.
It
Okay,
was. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
It was.
And actually, you
It
know
was.
what? That riff where he's playing power chords up on higher than
It
usual.
sounds
that
like
reeks of
Mustaine.
Mustaine.
Yeah,
that sounds like
that is.
Yeah, so hearing you say that, I bet you're right. about
Just the opening. That's Mustaine all over the place.
that. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Mustaine.
And it's scary to think that two of the best minds in metal riffage were in the same band for a brief
Yeah.
time. Hetfield and Mustaine together. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's too much almost.
It's like two like heavy metals coming together and like creates an atomic blast. You got to separate them.
It's true.
It's like
that-
matter and
yeah.
antimatter.
You are so
Yeah.
right about that. The resulting or
It's just like
doesn't work.
It's too
Yeah.
it's too much critical
Yeah.
mass. You have to have them separate. Two different poles of the Earth.
Yeah.
You know,
Magnets.
yeah.
If you
otherwise
could bring
it's
them
just too
together
much.
successfully, you would have steel that has never been stronger.
Too dense.
And you could, but
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Breaks
It's
the
Metal
periodic
that's never been
table
stronger.
elements.
precious
Yeah.
metals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would just like it'd be so dense the Earth would collapse upon
The
itself.
Earth would
Yeah,
collapse
yeah.
upon itself, and thankfully for us, that
It
didn't
didn't happen. Yeah, yeah.
You know, he.
There's like a
kicked
weird
Hetfield's
sci-fi
dog.
movie in there somewhere.
Right,
Right?
it's a weird anomaly where the world would collapse
Yeah.
into itself.
Yeah.
We wouldn't exist.
It's
Yeah.
true,
We'd
and
be
we're
over.
lucky as a race of people
Yeah.
that Mustaine was allowed to be the leader, and that he found Dave Ellefson too, so
Yes,
that they could
yeah.
form their own kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that because
Yeah.
Rust in Peace would never have happened if it was still Metallica, because he
Yeah.
would have been reined in on his, and talk about a lot of guitar solos. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's another album that we'll get to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
see,
you
that's
guys,
that's a
I'm
seminal
coming down
album.
to New York if you talk about Rust in Peace. I want in on that.
All right,
I want in on that. Yeah.
but that's seminal.
Yeah,
That's a seminal record
that is.
for Megadeth.
Yeah.
That really is.
It is.
All right, next up, No Remorse.
Now, see, this to me I love because right out of the gate is a ripping guitar solo.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That
That's
I
unusual.
love. Yeah.
And then, right
Yep.
there.
I mean, listen
yeah,
to this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's
I
the
love
opening
how it
line?
had-
Down in the depths of a fiery hole. is that? What, am I right or?
That was Jump in the Fire.
Oh, that
I
was
think.
Jump in the
Someone's-
Fire.
Yeah, this one is Only the Strong Survive.
This one's about war, right?
right,
Basically.
right.
And the sound still has some dynamics left in it, which is missing from every modern genre, not just metal. Everything, they compress everything too much now.
Right.
So the fact that guitar solo, you can feel it kind of needling you with those. Yeah. Oh, love it.
Yeah.
All right. Any more on this one?
I love this one. I just have to say, this is one of my favorites on the record. Again,
Yeah.
it goes through a lot of movements. It's not just like, it has a lot of parts to it.
The beginning of thrash metal and calling fans to arms.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Calling fans to arms with metal militia and what have you
Yeah.
on this record.
Yeah, and the whole end part of this, where the bullets are flying, people are dying. I feel like it's like I want to.
Oh, hell's
when I
breaking
hear
loose.
that. Yeah, because it stops and there's a drum roll and he goes attack, and
Right.
everyone just and then the super thrashy thing comes in. It's like this was before young people wanted to mosh to anything that they possibly could. Like this was something that should inspire a big circular pit of doom.
Right.
Just it was before that. Actually, I don't think people did mosh to Metallica, but that to me would make me want to get
People
spinning.
did, but it was kind of like the more punk kind of bobbing around and
Yeah.
jumping around and
Yeah.
pushing each other around,
Yeah.
but
That whole
it was
pogo
more
thing.
friendly. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
more friendly. It wasn't until the 90s where people started getting violent in mosh pits.
Yeah.
Seriously, with bands like Pearl Jam, of
I know.
all bands,
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they started just, punching each other in the head and shit like this, which was dumb. Before Slayer got arena venues, when they played smaller, and you never really got hurt that much. Later on in the 90s, I go to a Slayer show, boom, I'm getting kicked in the head.
Yeah, elbows to the face, and you look up and someone's boot is coming down right on your nose.
I'm calling my dentist while I'm there from a payphone saying, man, I lost a goddamn
You need to see me
tooth.
tomorrow.
Right. So.
All right, this is Seek and Destroy.
This is one
All
of the
right,
most
classic
well-crafted.
riff.
Yeah. And this was the one where my
just-
wife said, okay, this one you could put on Ride the Lightning and it would be okay, it would fit.
Yeah.
It feels more like a crafted song. It's not just all about the adrenaline.
Right.
You know? And
Slower
this is
pace.
a great song. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
and the tempo is much slower.
Yeah.
And it's funny, in general, this is considered the beginning of thrash, but it's so slow compared to what thrash became. You know,
Right.
where it's just like, you know, with some of the modern bands, Lamb of God and all that kind of stuff, where it's
Right.
like super fast. You know?
But I really consider this their rock song on the album.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
their rock song.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's very rock,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But back when it was first heard, of course, everybody said, "Oh man, it's so fucking tight, it's so fucking fast."
Yeah.
Now you know,
I know.
I can play this with my feet.
I know, seriously. This is another one where they did a classic Metallica songwriting technique too, where they take you on this journey and it goes into that whole other middle part that gets faster.
Right.
And when they bring you back around and that beginning riff comes back in kind of towards
Right.
the end, you just feel this extra surge of adrenaline, like here we are again, back where we began, and then they ride it out.
Right.
And the end has some great parts too, where it goes like da-dun, da-dun, da-dun,
Yep.
cha-cha-dun, dun,
Yep.
dun, 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 dun. Again, I'm moshing now. It's just like it's heavy. It's like the kind of heavy that inspires you to want to
Sofa moshing.
yeah,
is what we're
smash
doing. Yeah,
something or at least punch someone in the face. You know?
Well, I love the
yeah.
lead in too, you know, with the search and seek and destroy. You know, that's a great lead in.
Yeah.
Kind of gets you running again, you know. But yeah, absolutely, the end is probably my favorite part of the song with the
Yeah. I know where it goes. Yeah.
that shit, you know, gets
And they
you.
bring back the lick to end it. Yeah. And the way the solo is framed too, where it's almost like you're trading fours with the rhythm. Do do.
Right.
That third one's weird, and then he goes all out. You know, again with the just pick as fast as you can and just move your fingers around wherever they want to go. Like, you know, it's crazy shit.
All right, this is again Beavis and Butthead. Let's move on.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Okay, last track on the official original release, Metal Militia. Yep.
Militia.
All right, so they're not slowing down for the,
No,
the last
no.
one.
Why would you?
Yeah.
No, they're not doing a moody ballad for the
No.
final song. That
Right,
is
for
not
the
going to
closer.
happen.
No,
Yeah.
Of course not. They want to bang you over the
Yeah.
fucking head.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, to be honest. I do.
This
That's
one might
incredible.
have some Mustaine stuff on it too. I don't know.
It sounds a
Yeah.
little bit like, right?
And that it's about to come in. That seems a little Mustaine too.
Yeah.
This one here, I love this riff.
Well, that's all Hammett. And you can tell by the style. But you're right, there are certain tildes here and there that sound very Mustaine.
Tilde, good word.
Actually, when Hetfield's voice comes in, sounds a lot to me like Mustaine.
Oh,
But
okay,
it's,
so
you know,
maybe,
listen
yeah.
to. See? I could
Yeah,
see
yeah.
Mustaine doing that easy. You
Yeah.
know, that sounds like a Mustaine intro for me.
Yeah.
Running for safety.
Stabbing the harlot to pay for her sins.
Oh,
leaving the virgin.
Right. See? Confirmed. That's Mustaine.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
Trying to get the message to you. Yeah. Yeah, the lyrics, I think it should be said, the lyrics on this album, for the most part, are terrible.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
sound like they're written by guys of that age.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
You know, it was their junior effort. I mean, they had played in clubs and whatnot, but they were released on Megaforce with this album. I still enjoy the record. I really like the
Oh,
record
yeah.
a lot.
No,
It's
musically
It's a
awesome.
great debut record,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
and we should do another podcast about, killer debut albums. For me, this is a killer debut album.
Yeah, and the word you used, mission statement. I mean, they're coming out and just saying, here we are,
Right.
and we are not going to let up on the gas for the entirety of this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Barely hitting the brake.
Yeah. When Seek and Destroy comes, we're going to slow down a little bit, but you're
Yeah.
still being punished. Make no mistake about
Right.
it. I mean, they're still coming at you.
Yeah.
And Metal Militia, it's a fitting end to the record. I do think that's the stupidest line. It's my favorite line on the record. Stabbing the harlot to pay for her sins. And then he has to specify, leaving the virgin. It's like, oh, good. You spare the virgin because she is pure.
Wow!
And at the end, when you hear the boots coming down
Right.
while they're
Yeah.
playing the outro.
And there's a
yeah.
weird bullet ricochet in the background, too. It's like...
I know, and it sounds like it's from an old Western or something. It's like a terrible sound effect. Oh, I love it.
All right, so we got some bonus tracks to do.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we do.
Okay.
Because the version that most people know of this
Yeah.
record, or a lot of people, had
Am I Evil
Am
and
I Evil
Blitzkrieg.
and Blitzkrieg. right?
Okay, let's do those now.
So let's do those. Oh, Am I Evil?
I love this song.
Yeah, great song.
Just 'cause. It's a great rock metal song.
Yeah.
Titled Am I Evil? With question mark?
Yeah,
Come on.
love it. Yeah.
The
You
answer
gotta-
is probably yes.
Yeah, and he does answer the question.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. Yes, I am. Well,
Yes, I fucking am!
Yeah, your album has a bloody hammer on it, so
Right.
I'm going with probably.
Well, I remember back in the day when we were in a band, Super Deformed, where we got that interview, and the interviewer asked us first, "Are you evil?" And we both responded properly. Said, "Yes, I fucking am." Don't test us about our metal.
Yeah, seriously. And I love how this sounds like, again, marching to
Yeah.
battle or something. It's
Exactly.
military.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet another song, this is a Diamond Head song, but you can see how Metallica was so influenced by this band, and that it's almost 8 minutes long. It has multiple movements, an extended solo.
Right.
Well past the point when you're like, wow, this song could have been over 3 minutes ago. Now it's time for an extended solo. And then coming back to the main riff, they really make you,
Yeah.
go on the ride with them.
I love the cockiness of it.
Yeah, yeah,
This big intro, really?
yeah.
Big intro, really?
Yeah, and then this little classical
Right.
nonsense he plays. Listen to this. Like,
Diddling.
yeah, exactly.
And then wait for it though. Right.
Like, did you really need to count them in right there? Like,
Right.
oh, geez, yeah. Like, it's just a guy
It's
coming
incredible.
in with a riff. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's incredible.
fucking awesome.
And then
Yeah.
my mother was a witch.
Yeah, she was burned to that spineless little bitch.
Right?
It's like, all right, that's kind of, I don't know, man. It's rough, but am
Yeah,
I
well-
evil? Yeah, you called your mom a bitch. I mean, probably.
Spineless, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. So
next track is
So Blitzkrieg.
Blitzkrieg,
let's,
yeah.
let's talk Blitzkrieg.
Yep.
Woof.
And
Right
this was
from
by
there.
the band Blitzkrieg,
Yep.
which we were just talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
This to me is awesome because it's succinct. 3 minutes and 36 seconds. They get right to the point.
Yeah.
Killer riffs, good solo. It's got all the elements.
Concise vocal,
Yeah.
right with the band,
Yeah.
right in time.
The main riff that comes in right now is killer, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
But it drops down a little bit.
Yeah.
To get to the bass, to the
Yeah.
to the rhythm section on that. And then his vocals are so soaked in echo though on this first album.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, it's like it's a demo kind of sound.
Yeah,
almost,
right. Right. Well, I think maybe he was unconfident. He wasn't confident. So
Yeah.
you go for studio magic.
Yeah, I think you're right. And look at this. We're a minute in. We've already got through a chorus. So this is much
Yeah,
more
right.
like a regular pop song in terms of like 3.5 minutes.
Right.
We're getting in. We're getting out. We're telling our story fast, and I respect that. Although I like their flights of fancy with the longer songs as a young band too. But
Of course, yeah.
this was a good, definitely a good song.
I love it. I think
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah,
I think
that's one of my favorites. I come back to that one.
Blitzkrieg.
When I'm just jamming on my own, I come back to that riff. It just puts me in a good place.
nice, nice.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
All right, so we covered this album. Now let's talk about the album cover. What do you think?
I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like it. It is very minimal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of looking like you want to kill them all, but at the same time you don't, because the hand is open.
Okay.
The hammer's kind of flying loose. You get the blood and the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I'd rather see that hand wrapped around that hammer. And
This
really,
hesitation. I like this. You're reading into it. You're like,
Yeah,
this guy, he didn't actually want to. He's regretting his decision to kill every last one of them.
I want to see it down on a brain, you know,
Yeah,
man.
hitting the skull,
Yeah.
you know, and blood spurting out that way. Max?
I'm going to give it to Mark first.
Well, sure, I'm happy to weigh in. I've always
Yeah.
loved the cover because I sort of look at it in the trajectory of Metallica's development as a band, and we already talked about how they made huge strides between this and the next two records.
Right.
You go to Ride the Lightning, and the logo has now got like a 3D perspective on it, and there's a painting
Well, wait
on
a
both
minute.
of those covers.
I mean, if you're talking about the logo, of
Yeah.
course, I love the flat logo.
The logo,
Instead
yeah,
of the,
sure.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the weird 3D thing that they were doing with their logo.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mark. I
Oh,
didn't
no-
mean to
no
interject,
problem at all.
but
Yeah.
I do like the flat logo better than the 3D.
I like
Silly
both.
80s.
Yeah, it did look
kind
a little
of
more
metal
overblown.
thing. Yeah.
I agree with that, but I feel like it reflected their trajectory as a band too, where the music was gaining some more dimensions too. And I like that this was, again, to me, it's like it's a demo almost. Like it's a flat logo. They're like, it's called Kilomole. It's two colors. It's black and red and
I love
white.
black and red.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
I mean, that's your palette. Black
That's
and
all
red
his palette.
and white, just because, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe some gray.
Yeah. I like the simplicity of it. I feel like in the mission statement element of it, it's effective. It's a hammer, it's blood, it's a logo. What do
Right.
you think, Max?
I think it looks like a serial killer's Instagram profile. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, perfect.
I won't say any more.
I'm not a big fan of the album cover.
I
At all.
don't like it. Yeah.
Metallica is not known for their album covers, period.
Right.
All their album covers suck. They suck. All of them stink.
Yeah.
The logo, though, carries them.
Logo's
Yeah.
cool.
The
Yeah,
logo's
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
It's very iconic.
You'd think they'd want to just have the logo on there, as they ended up doing, right? Later on.
With the black record.
Exactly, yeah.
But they had a snake on it, too.
Yeah, it was a snake, yeah.
Yeah, that one was.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
why?
That was
Okay.
bad. You know, part of me, I'm wondering if I look at, just as a quick aside, if I look at these things a little differently than you guys. You seem to be able to separate the design of the cover from the content. I feel like
From the
the
content,
records
yeah.
I really like, I just love the cover because it represents the record I really like. So
Okay,
there might be an
yeah.
element where I can't even break the two.
We
I
tend to
I
do
do
that. Yeah, we
separate
tend to
them.
do that,
Yeah,
yeah.
try to think of it as basically. Yeah.
We've
I
talked
hear
about this before where you
Yeah.
have a great record
Yeah.
that has a shit album
it.
cover.
Well, yeah. Let's go back to one of our favorites in that regard, Sabotage. I'd like.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think? Yeah.
I
okay.
listened to your stuff on that, and I was just like, "Oh, I wish I could pipe in."
Yeah.
And that was interesting. Hallie's like, "I think their whole thing was sabotaged as part of it." I'm like, "Wow, could that be
Yeah.
intentional?" That's fucking deep.
what
man.
happened to this man's
Yeah.
pants?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The thing when looking at Bill Ward,
That's an
where
old
it's
title.
tidy whities through the red tights,
It's
like,
so
it
bad.
makes me uncomfortable to this day.
I know.
To cast my eyes on that.
That's why sometimes I don't look at the actual album cover. I just
Yeah.
put the disc in and turn the album upside down.
Yeah, yeah.
And look at the
Yeah.
back of them because
Well,
it's,
these days I'm not even really conscious of the damn album cover because
Yeah.
I'm listening through it, on Spotify or whatever. and
right,
yeah.
right. Which is sad.
Which is sad because you're
Yeah.
divorced from that experience.
See, with certain bands that we're trying to review here, we do want the whole package. We want
Exactly.
the album
I mean,
cover. We want
the
to
album
talk
cover
about
is part of the overall aesthetic
Yeah.
statement that they're making. So
This
we do
is
want to talk about it.
what brought us into.
Yeah,
what
back then,
yeah.
you're like flipping through these massive LPs in a record store,
Right.
And they would grab your eye.
Yeah.
Like even if you didn't know the band, you'd be like, "Oh, that looks kind of awesome. Maybe I want to pick that up."
Exactly.
It was advertising back then.
Well,
Sometimes
I
it's
think
all you had.
Kilomole did do that to a certain extent.
Oh, it did. Yeah, I mean, it
A
makes
bloody
a
hammer?
statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it drew in a certain crowd that was not me back then. I'll
Okay.
just say that.
All right.
I'll just say it.
Really?
I have grown to love Metallica, but
Now imagine if they had their way.
Yeah.
Metallica had their way. They
Yeah.
wanted to call it Metal Up Your Ass.
Yes, as we
Would you
discussed.
would you pick up that album
No.
Oh, definitely.
with a toilet bowl and a
No.
hand coming through it with a knife?
No.
Not as much. Yeah.
Not so,
So
much.
of course, I guess this is easier than
Okay.
a knife up your ass or
okay.
a bloody hammer.
This may be. I'll try to keep this digression short, but I'll just say that back then I was introduced to Metallica because there were certain guys wearing the T-shirt with the image of this album cover on them,
Okay.
and those were not guys I wanted to hang out with. I was hanging out with metal guys. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But this was actually a barrier to me, rather than
Really?
And with that and those guys and the title Kilomole, honestly, I'm just going to say this.
I know
I-
where you. Okay.
I
know where
thought
you're gonna
it was a white power band.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
I thought Kilomole
okay. Yeah,
was
I
about
knew,
genocide because
There
again,
were skinhead bands
because of the kinds
around
of
the time.
guys
Yeah,
who
yeah,
had
yeah.
these T-shirts. So it immediately repulsed me when my friends started getting into it.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, all right, And of course, back then you had no information about a band.
Right.
There was no internet. You couldn't just look them
You
up.
had to pick up Kerrang,
Exactly.
or
Yeah, yeah.
you had to go to a magazine
it,
store.
It took a while, so I sort of have this resentment of this album cover because it presented a barrier to me at that time, and it kept me from getting into Metallica, as soon as I might have otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
I said way more than I needed to on that. But
No,
yeah.
no, it's,
Yeah.
that's relevant.
actually really
It just
relevant.
it happened.
That's very
it's a thing
relevant.
that happened. Yeah.
And
now I
you have a
love
perspective
Metallica.
on that we couldn't have. You're from San Jose. You're right
Yeah,
in
that
the
was
area.
San Jose.
You're
Yeah.
there.
Near
I mean,
Frisco,
yeah.
yeah.
I wasn't right there.
Right.
This was much later for me, and
Mm.
and it was all metal growing up for me. I wasn't thinking anything about white power, and I'm just like, I like it. It sounds
Yeah.
aggressive.
Right.
I had no political thoughts at all. So
Yeah.
Well, see, good rock is supposed to be that way. It's non-political.
yeah.
Yeah.
People make it political.
Right. Yeah.
Because I remember one of my girlfriends years and years ago, I had Black Sabbath records, and she would not listen to Black Sabbath at all.
Yeah.
Because she said only the bad kids were into Black Sabbath.
Okay.
And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, fine, don't listen then.
Yeah.
Us bad kids are going to keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Then when she actually listened to it, she said, you know what? Those guys are great.
Yeah.
Don't look at it like that, because certain people make it that way, which shouldn't be what
But
rock
that's
is about.
how it was in high school. I mean, we all remember that. Like,
Yeah.
music was associated with certain cliques.
You got clicked off.
It was
Yeah,
it was
I
a
know.
different thing back then. You know what I mean?
See,
It
I-
just which I think is stupid.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense that we thought that way, but we did.
The
you
reason
know?
why
It's like-
we talk is because, I was so into rock and metal, but I was also into goth and different alternative music. And
Yeah.
that's why we started talking.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, okay, so you dig AC/DC? Yeah, but I also dig the Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah.
So we started
Yeah,
talking
we
from that.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I like The Cure. You like The Cure? Yeah, I like The Cure.
Yeah,
So we started
and we
talking
even
from
dip in the
that.
Bee Gees now and then.
Yeah, we love the Bee Gees.
We actually do love the Bee
Actually,
Gees.
yes.
Yeah.
The Bee Gees are fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
We're
yeah.
gonna end this Metallica
Yes.
podcast really with talking about
I
the
know.
Bee Gees.
Okay, gun to the head.
Out of the head.
Gun to that. Mark, top song.
Top song. This is one of those things. I will give you a top song. I'm not going to hem and haw too much.
Not too much, just a
A
little bit.
little bit, yeah. I think I'll go a little outside the box, and I'll say Phantom Lord.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Really?
it's got
Okay.
all the elements. It's super long. It's got a bunch of ripping solos, just two of them actually, plus a 1-bar fill solo, which I didn't count in my total earlier. Just so you know.
Well,
as you
that's
can
not
see.
accurate.
Yeah,
Recap.
I had a solo as being 4 bars or more. There are
Okay,
a couple of 2
good.
bar.
That's a
I
good
call
criterion.
those fills, but in any case,
All right.
I'm going to go Phantom Lord. But it could be Seek and Destroy. It could be Four Horsemen. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to me, this is a record. Talk about one where I have trouble.
It's
picking
consistent.
best and worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's consistent. Yeah.
Yours, Walt?
God damn it. You know what? I never prepared for that. You know what? I'm going to go Hit the Lights.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. Like we
Because
said,
that kind
mission
of
statement.
Yeah, it kind of brings the show and the whole thing, and I would love that energy if I hit the stage as a singer. Just hit the lights. Let's go. Come on. So for me, it'd be Hit the Lights.
Okay.
Love it.
I'm being a cliche again. Four Horsemen.
Really?
I love epic songs.
That's
I don't
a
know
great
why.
song.
I don't know why.
Four
I just
Horsemen, man.
it
That's-
draws
yeah.
me.
It is. but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. Okay. All right. Gun to the head the other way.
Other way, and this I thought about beforehand, so I'm just
Yeah.
going to put it out there. It would be Metal Militia for me.
Okay.
I think it's a great song, but I don't know, the lyrics are a little trite, and what Metal Militia does riff-wise, I feel like they kind of did a similar thing on Whiplash where you're just tearing into the low, the chugging.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, I'd lop off the end of the record.
Okay.
Say Metal
Really?
Militia.
Really? Say that again?
Metal Militia. Yeah, I would say Metal Militia. I would
Okay.
take that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I said it, so I'm going to stick with it.
stick with it, of course.
It's gun to the head.
Yeah, it's gun to
Yeah.
the head, exactly. If it's my brains on the wall or it's Metal Militia.
Yeah.
But don't make me make the choice.
I know. I hate this segment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go anesthesia. Pulling teeth.
That's mine too, honestly.
I would
yeah.
go anesthesia.
Yeah.
Pulling teeth. As much as I love hearing Cliff
Yeah.
Burton play,
Yeah.
and that was a staple when they were playing live at the time, I don't want to disrespect the man because every
That's not what it's
metalhead
about.
loves Cliff Burton.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would lose that one.
Yeah,
The only
me too.
reason I left that on is just because it's such a unique element to the record that
Totally.
you give the bass
Yeah,
player
it's
a
crazy.
feature. I'm kind
Yeah,
of like,
yeah.
the bass player never gets any love. I'll take
Right.
the other one off. But I can totally see that. And the album would be more cohesive without it. It would just be a
That's
slaughter from start
Kind
to
of where I'm
finish
coming
without it.
from. Yeah.
Well, I think that's why they did the jam at the end of it,
Yeah.
going into,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to lose
My
that
only
one,
thought with that is then jump in the fire. Come on, jump in now. And okay, there's a big ripping solo and it fades out, and then you just go right to diddle-a-din. Actually, that would work. It would still work, right?
Yeah.
It would still work. Yeah. I was just trying to think of it because I like the way that Anesthesia has that crazy sounds, and then it goes right into Whiplash. But you could still make the transition fine.
I still like the fact that they took a second to go, here's a pause.
Yeah.
Bass solo, take one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
I like records that do that.
Yeah.
Where you take a minute and you're
Change
saying,
it up a little bit.
You're also talking to your audience a little bit more.
Yeah.
By saying, okay, look at this. It's for real.
Yeah.
We're kind of there with you. You're,
Yeah, definitely.
You're with us. So I do enjoy that, but at the same time, it's a little amateurish.
Okay.
A little amateurish for a debut.
Yeah.
If your debut is supposed to be pristine, you're supposed to put all your best songs forward first. So that, as much as I still love it, that's my pick.
Okay. Cool. All right. I think. Well, I think we've already wrapped it up. I mean, it's pretty obvious how we feel about this album, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We love it. It's
Yeah,
a
we love it.
classic.
We
It's a
love it.
mission
Yeah.
statement. Just one other thing
Yeah.
I'd like to say
Yeah.
is the sad thing to me is that a new band coming up that might have the same youthful power and energy would never be allowed to sound this raw anymore, and I think
Right.
that's a real
Yeah.
problem.
You mentioned that earlier, Mark, which is a great point.
If you take this same master tape and gave it to some hotshot engineer, what you got back would be fucking disgusting. All the drums would be replaced with samples. I'm not even, this is not hyperbole. They would say, oh, his drumming is a little inconsistent, so they take the best, fattest snare sound that they recorded in some $1 million studio. So a snare drum that Lars Ulrich has never seen in his life would be all over this record. The
Because
kick drum
basically, he
would be
made this
perfectly-
record with a Muppet kit.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's a bunch of broke people like doing their best. Like,
Right.
It's unfortunate, I'll just say, in the music industry that
Yeah.
we're not allowed anymore to just like give you a real representation
Right.
of a young, hungry band just doing their best. That's not good enough anymore. We have to have perfection. So it's a lament a little bit that it's sad to me that we're not allowed a window. And even if you listen to this record back in the day and you said, oh, I wish it was more polished. Well, you didn't have to wait that long because Ride the Lightning came out and blew your fucking mind
Yeah.
in a way that it never could have if
Yeah.
you didn't have this demo quality
You
thing to
creamed your
start.
jeans.
Yeah.
You creamed your jeans.
All right.
When that shit came out, I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's the same. That's Metallica. What? That's
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, because Ride the Lightning is like even more evil and scary, like trapped under ice and
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
But the
Creeping death.
songwriting gets better, the sound gets better, everything gets better.
See,
and then
but-
they did it again with Master of Puppets.
But I still love the juxtaposition between Kilomole and Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
That shows the metal of a band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they said, okay, you know what? That was where we were then.
You did
Here
a
we are
pun
now.
there.
I know.
Is that
Yeah, I
intentional?
saw
You
it.
got it.
I-
Yeah,
I-
right. You
I
got
was
it.
spelling
yeah,
it both
yeah,
in my
yeah.
head, like, which one
Okay.
is
Metal.
I get it now.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a bit too sophisticated with the puns tonight. Real word master.
So, yeah, I tried.
Yeah,
But yeah.
All
so,
right. So,
there it is.
all right, Mark. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much.
You bring an immense amount to these podcasts. we're hoping you can join us again sometime. You
Yeah.
can drag your butt down from Vermont or wherever the hell you go to when you leave here.
Yeah, I would love to. Any excuse to come back to the city is great, and
Cool.
we'll do this again.
Awesome. We will make that happen.
Absolutely.
All right. Until then, I'm Max.
I'm Walt.
And we are Useless Info Inc. So, Walt, I think we'll be back with Ministry next, right?
Ministry.
Okay, until then, you can find us on WordPress, on YouTube, on the Twitters, on Pinecast. Come back and listen to us then. Tweet at us. Do whatever you like. Give us some comments. We want to know you're out there.
Absolutely.
We want to know you love us. Or hate us. Doesn't matter. Just talk to us.
Yeah, just talk shit to us, please.
Yeah, we can take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Bye.